but that's okay.
Yeah, a little bit traffic and delays, unexpected delays always happen, always add to time, but we're here safe and that's all that matters. So
Absolutely.
we are going to do the last part of our series we've been doing about just mobility. And this is going to be around the thoracic spine, which a lot of us need work with. I am really super guilty of this area. So this has been a good one for me to be reminded to start doing more of.
Yeah, it's something that it doesn't take a lot of time, but it has to be kind of on your radar things that you need to be doing. And when you start to implement this in, you can do it a couple times a day, ideally several times a week, but they take, like I said, just doing 5 minutes of this, getting that into your natural routine that you're trying to do to work on that mobility, that's going to allow you to be a better runner, b mitigate the injuries that so many runners experience, but also just functional movement as we live longer. We all want to be living, living that long, having that longevity, but also being able to have the autonomy to be living on our own, be able to get our groceries in, be able to lift those things up on a higher shelf, be able to pick something off the ground. These are all things that seem, mundane that we just automatically do now. But as we grow older, A, we can keep on running as we grow older, but B, we want to keep functional strength and movement. And mobility is a huge part of that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really critical. Again, just those day-to-day movements. And as runners, a lot of times we think we're just going linear, and it's not the case, because we are moving around a little bit, and we need to have that flexibility as part of our entire kinetic chain.
Yeah.
So we're going to go into some slides here, as we always like to do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, going to go into improve your thoracic spine, and just a couple minutes here of exercises as we get our tech kind of readjusted here in our new location.
We're back to the other.
We're back to the old, yeah, we're back. We're kind of all over the place, so to speak, but no, it's all good here. So yeah, so each week, as we say, not medical advice, is stuff that we research, that we do for ourselves, because we want to be in control of our health, which is what we want for you guys, right? So that's
Absolutely.
the reason we do these.
So being proactive about it and being preventive about it, especially with running. There's no reason why we get injured at the alarming rates of do. And a lot of times it's just we don't take care of all those things that allow us to run. There's a lot more than just lacing up our shoes and getting out there and hitting the pavement or whatever. We have to incorporate the strength. We have to incorporate the mobility, that we have the proper functioning when we are asking our body to do a high impact sport. Never forget, it doesn't have how fast or how slow you are. It is still a high impact sport that's 2 to 3 times your body weight with every stride. So
yeah, with every step. And so this is why it's critical. They may not seem like a lot, but it adds up, right? And this is why we're trying to reverse some of that, get stronger, improve our health, so we can all keep running as we get older. And we told you guys we were down in Florida. The community we were staying at is full of a lot of a little bit elderly. I don't want to say elderly, but people that are older, and they're very
in their 70s.
So
yeah,
they're really mobile though, and it's really inspiring to see all that.
Playing golf, I see them out walking. I run every day, so I see same people. They're out there walking their dog. They're out there playing tennis. They're out there getting after it. But they've been mobile their whole life. You're not able to be mobile at 80 if you're not mobile when you're in your 40s, 50s, and 60s. You have to build that strength. You have to work on that, and you have to constantly work on it. You move it or lose it. There's a reason why they say that. It's absolutely true.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, today we're going to talk about, again, improving your thoracic spine mobility, and it's going to also help with your poor posture, which we tend to do because we spend time on devices in front of screens over. I have a long way to go, but I'm definitely working on it, and I know I'm making progress in getting to that level, which is going to help my running, which is the bottom line.
So your thoracic spine, where we're talking about, is below, right from your neck to, you got about 12 vertebrae, but right below your shoulder blades. Basically that is the area. We don't think a lot about that, but if you've seen marathons, you watch the end of races, what happens? People get tired, and you see them like this. If you're at the grocery store, you've seen little old ladies that are also bent over like that. That did not happen overnight. That happened over decades of not working on the strength, working on the mobility to keep those muscles in the range that they need to be, and keep those joints there. So your thoracic spine is huge. Having we tend to be, forward. We are both actively, like consciously trying to work on that constantly, because like I said, if you work on a computer, you need to have it high up. You need to have it at eye level. But like I said, there's just repetitive movements that we do. And our lifestyle can lead to us being that hunched over, those rounded shoulders, that limits any type of shoulder overhead movements that you do, not just, being able to do, lifts and overhead lifts and doing stuff like that, being able to lift something out of the cabinet or put something up in the cabinet. If you don't have the mobility in your upper back, it's going to really limit your shoulder's ability to move and have the strength and the mobility that it needs for you, like I said, to get something off that high shelf or put something away like that. These are all just functional movements that we need. So this is something, like I said, these things are, 5-10 minutes that you can work into your routine, but this is working the upper back or thoracic spine.
Yeah, exactly. So last week, as a quick recap, we talked about the tight hip flexors, which is another critical thing, especially for runners. Man, I'm super guilty of this one. Some simple things with a foam roll. You can do this in less than 5 minutes. And it's really, now that I'm in a routine, I've seen significant improvement. My PF finally took itself because I started doing this more consistently, right? So we're foam rolling your hip flexors. We talked about a standing hip flexor stretch.
There's like four movements you do. You loosen up that tissue, you lengthen that tissue, you activate the weaker muscles, usually on the opposing or antagonistic muscle. And then we have a balance type movement that integrates the whole thing. So it's kind of a 4-step process. It sounds like a lot, but we're talking 30 seconds, for each one of these things. They don't take a long time. So it's just getting that full range of motion, loosening it up, lengthening it, activating it, and then integrating it. So that's the process that we use.
Yeah, that's what we did last week with the hip flexors, and today we're going to do the same thing now, same process or same 4 movements with the thoracic spine. So we're going to foam roll that. Again, be careful here. Do not go up to your neck area. Please do not do that.
Yeah, we're not doing our
We'll show you in a video here. We're down.
Our lumbar spine.
It's from your shoulder blades on down, and that's the area.
Your shoulder, from your neck, like right
below your neck,
where your neck ends, and right below your shoulder blades.
Right, and that little area. We're going to show a little video here in a second. So we'll show you some foam rolling to do. Like Patty mentioned a second ago, some stretching or extension. You can do it with the easy chair, anything that you'll see in the video. A table and stuff, very easy. And then some standing cobras, which are actually a lot harder than you think until you've done those. If you've never done those, you're going to be surprised at that. And then a squat with a single lateral leg raise, which again is a lot harder.
Single leg scaption.
Scaption, excuse me. Yeah. It seems easy, but it's not. I'll leave it at that. Yeah. So I get a little bit of moving around with the screen. So bear with me 1 second here as I get this back organized. All right, we're going to show this little video here. This was when we were back and forth. We did this at the gym here. So again, as we all right, come on, play now. Oh no, don't tell me this thing is covering up. Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. A little bit of tech stuff. Okay, so yeah, you take the foam roller. You can see here.
So you're gonna put it like I said, right below your shoulder blades.
Yep.
Adjust, and you'll lift your hips, and you might have to adjust around or keep moving your hips. Have your feet to keep you to be kind of above that tabletop kind of level, but you want to do 1 inch per second per inch If you find a spot that is like, oh, that is really tender, you're going to take a deep breath in. You're going to hold that for 30 seconds. You don't want that. You don't want it to be painful. If it's like, ow,
yeah, it hurts too much, then you have to stop.
Then you're gonna
Use
back
common
off.
sense.
You're gonna back off for about 10% of that pressure. You might have to like just lower your butt to the and then hold it for that 30 seconds. Remember, you want to be able to breathe through that. If you're all tensed up and it's hurting, you're not going to get the relaxation of that tissue that you want. So, but if not, you're going to go up, take a couple passes up and down. You can also, by showing just a second here, you can actually put your elbows together. That allows you to foam roll when you have that retraction of your scapular retraction, and it just gets another little. And it actually feels really, really good. You'll notice, or at least every time I do it, my back cracks at least 3 or 4 times. So,
yeah, right.
It feels really good. From this position, you can also do little back extensions. Just kind of lower your head down to the mat and then back up. You can just do those in between. Roll for a couple seconds, do that extension, and then keep rolling. But loosening up that tissue, you can add a little bit of movement to it by doing the flexion or putting your elbows together. That just helps to increase how the tissue responds and relaxes there.
Right, and so Patty's got her butt off the ground there, but again, if that's hurting too much, put your butt down and just slowly build into it. The key is just slowly build into it. But like she said, one of the best benefits is just cracking your back.
It does. I do this every morning. Actually, I do this a couple times a day. It just really, like I said, loosens up that
nice
tissue.
And slow, just like that. And you see that little spot right there between her, just the shoulder blades
where your sports
and
bra
shoulder
ends. If you're a chick and you're
you're a female, yeah.
But right at the bottom of your scapula there.
Right to there, right there. Yeah, and that's it. Just do that for a few seconds there, or about 30 seconds. And we got a nice foam roller. You can use any kind of foam roller. We highly recommend. It's got little knobs on, but you can use any one. Now this is the next one where they're doing some
so once
extension.
we loosen up that tissue, then we want to lengthen that tissue because it tends to be tight. Our upper back here and our traps here tend to be really tight. So we loosen it up a little bit, then we extend. You can do this you can do it with a chair. You can do it on a table. If full out like that hurts, you can bring your arms in. You can always adjust that movement to how you want a good stretch, but you don't want it to be painful. Nothing should be painful.
Yep, exactly. That is critical. Again, 30 seconds. That will again feel that this one is like one of my favorites. It feels amazing because we're so hunched over, we're trying to stretch all that out now. So that's the second part of this. And again, you can go back to what we did in part 1, or you can do this. And now we're moving to the third part. We're going to do some.
So we want to activate. So this is if this upper traps and everything tend to be really tight, upper back, we need to get that extension. We're kind of hunched over, so we want to get extension in our upper back, and we have to strengthen our middle traps. Those tend to be weak. So Cobra is a great. You can do this prone, but this is the easiest way to do it standing. Everyone has a chair probably next to them, so this is stuff you would just need a foam roller to do. But you want to make sure stomach's in, knees are soft. You want that neutral spine and neck. You don't want your neck all crunched down, and you don't want to have your back with that.
So your back there is nice and straight, and you're just raising out with your thumbs back.
You want your thumbs up?
Thumbs up, or the up and back, and just basically go back to there. That's going to activate those weak muscles that you have.
Yeah, that helps your mid traps and your rhomboids. That's really important for that. Like I said, you need the strength to be able to get that extension. To get a lot of people, you'll find if you're not working on this at all, cannot like even just bend back. There's, you know, mobility tests that you can actually do for that. But this is something that if you don't work on and you work on a computer, you're probably going to have some issues with trying to get back extension, trying to get that movement. But Cobra is definitely a great way to strengthen those weakened muscles so you can get the strength to be able to extend your back how it should be.
So that's the third one of this exercise routine. Again, there's always 4 parts to this. So we're just activating it right now. And then that's just do those. How many of those are we doing again? We're doing a set of just
set of 10.
Set of 10. That's easy, right?
It's going to take a long time. And then we want to do a full body exercise that always works on balance. Balance is, everybody needs balance. But this is also getting that extension, getting that our shoulder extension. This is great for that. But also, we always need to work on balance. It's not as easy as it.
Not as easy as it looks, right? It really isn't.
And you won't need a ton of weight.
No,
8 pound weights there, and it was like, oh.
Yeah, if you can't do it with weights, just try it without weights. I would recommend doing that first, no weights, because you're going to be surprised again how hard that is. That is not that easy to do. Yeah. So now we're working on that balance, right?
Weights, extend it out, however big that lever is, away from your body. It takes more effort for you to A, stabilize, but B, strengthen.
Yeah, exactly. So it's those are the 4 movements again with the upper back, which again seems so simple. It's a lot of these things saying, oh, that's so easy. Well, it's not as easy as you think.
But it's actually doing more than you think.
Yeah,
and this is a critical part. And honestly, people don't realize it till they go to do something and they can't actually do it. So we want to always, like in running, you don't being hunched over, when we get tired, when we fatigue, we need to have those strong back muscles. We need to have that mobility in our back so we can keep those shoulders upright. You need to always, when you're running, especially you're doing those long miles, you need to be checking your form and raising up and lifting and putting those shoulders back. Anytime your head is moved, you add pounds of pressure on it's extensively, per inch adds like 10 pounds every time. So you don't want any extra weight being forced on your upper body here by the form that you're using. So always, that's one thing, doing those checks. This is all being mindful about how we are moving, how we are running, how we're feeling. When we run, we want to just like zone out and that's great. That's a part of it, especially when you've got the long miles to do. Check in with that form, do that, make sure you're getting back, but you have to work on extending, doing those movements to be able to get that back extension. And a lot of us, and me and Steve have both been, like I said, actively trying to work on that because I do not have the mobility I would like to have in my upper back. So I am actively working on it. And if you consistently do that, it'll get better.
Yeah, exactly. So again, to recap, you're going to foam roll that thoracic spine area, not your neck. Please do not do that.
Or not your lower back.
Not your lower back, right. There's key areas. You're only going to notice it's really in that shoulder blade area.
Yeah.
For 30 seconds, just roll it slightly. If you can't get your butt off the ground, put it down. Just use common sense there. Thoracic spine or thoracic extension. We use a chair or a bed. Doesn't really matter. You want to stretch or a bench, whatever's going to be easier. And those Cobras, man, I'll tell you, I tried that. I was like, whoa, that is way harder than you realize. Way, way harder than you realize.
That'll activate and strengthen your middle traps that tend to be on the weaker side. Upper traps kind of take everything over because we're hunched, we're forward, we're this, we're doing all that. So working those areas, that's what Cobra is a good way to do that and to get that extension that we need, that we're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. So with that, we're going to say to you guys, have a great Saturday. If you guys want any help getting started with this, we know we were guilty of this as well. You start, you stop, you start, you stop. You don't make any of that progress because you need that consistency, or you don't know where to start. You're just confused because there's so much information out there. Just go to runtips.us/call. That's runtips.us/call. and we can set up a time to help you guys out. At least get you started. We have no problem doing that. Or answer questions.
Like
yeah, exactly. So if you would like to take us up on that offer, go to runtips.us/call and just look at a time, and we can kind of go from there.
But we know you have a lot of things to do. I have a ton of things to do because I'm getting ready to leave tomorrow. So excitement, a lot of stress going on, but gonna get after it. So I know you guys have got a busy day too, but have an awesome day. Happy Saturday, everyone.
And we'll see you guys next week. We still will have this. We're gonna have a little bit of a surprise for next week. It'll be me solo because Patty will be in Portugal, but she will be checking in, and we'll have some great fun one to hear about her trip when she comes back and how she was running while traveling. That'll be a big bonus we're going to talk about next. All right, guys. And
okay. Bye now.